Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do another track guide for you, and we're going to have a look at the Okayama short circuit on iRacing. It's very popular in the rookie series, especially with the Mazdas, so we've got our little MX-5 here with a new lick of paint on it, looking very nice in its new colours. So we're going to take a look at the circuit, identify the corners we need to be aware of in terms of what's important for obtaining a good lap time. We're going to look at apex points, braking points, track out points as well, and just general lines around the circuit to try and improve your lap times and help you be quicker on track. So let's have a look at the circuit layout and identify what corners we need to be aware of first. Okay, so here is the circuit itself. Only very short as the name suggests, and there's only a few corners on here, but some of them are very important, so we need to be aware of them anyway. So, important corners to be aware of. Obviously this last corner here, very important, leads onto the front straight as well, so you've got to get that one right. I'd also say this corner here is particularly important because of the middle straight there. Corners which are very difficult and you need to make sure you get correct are turn 1. It's a very difficult corner, that one. It's quite a late apex, so you've got to be aware of that. Other than that, the rest of the track is pretty straightforward, and we'll get into that in more detail as we go, but those are the main corners we're going to be looking at to make sure we absolutely nail them and get the best result out of them as well. So let's jump into the sim and have a look at the track from a driver's perspective. Okay, so we're on track here. Start finish line just in front of us here, and turn 1 as you can see further down the road there. There's a 200 meter board on the left here, we can ignore that for the time being, so let's get ourselves down to turn 1. So we have the bridge just here, the Dunlop Bridge, and there's a 100 meter board on the left hand side here as you can see. So what you want to be doing, particularly with the Mazda, is you want to be braking around the 100 board on this particular corner. Keeping the car over to the left hand side like this. Make sure you're braking nice and hard with the ABS. Obviously you can smash the brake pedal quite a lot, but you want to try and, at the end of your braking point, you want to try and move the car more to the middle of the circuit. So rather than braking in a completely straight line and then heading to the outside of the corner, you want to just start turning in just towards the end of your braking, just to kind of get the car rotated in. So as you can see here, there's a dirtier part of the track on the left here. You kind of want to be moving inside that, so along this darker section of track here is where you want to be aiming at. Now the curb comes up quite early on the inside there, but you don't want to be hitting it right there, because if you hit the apex on that curve there, you are going to end up running off track on the exit. So you want to leave your turn-in point to about here properly, and you'll be aiming for the curb about there. So almost towards the end of the curb on the inside is where you want to be aiming for. That allows you to open the corner up and you can actually get the power down a lot earlier. So you can be picking the throttle up from the apex there and running it all the way out to the outside here. Now it's very easy to drop a wheel in the dirt on the outside here, and that'll just ruin the lap entirely and you'll be off into the wall on the inside there. So make sure you don't run too wide on the exit here. You want to keep the tyres on the curb as the absolute maximum. So as you continue through here, you can keep the car over to the left here. The normal Grand Prix track goes off left here, but we want to be going off to the right. So you'll be braking here just after the bridge. You can see on the left side there's some kind of muddy, dirty parts of the grass, so it's not completely grass, so you want to be braking just about here. You can see also there's a bit of a mark on the circuit there as well, so that's kind of your reference point for braking into this corner here. So you're in third gear at this point, and you can leave it in third gear up until here, and then you can change down to second gear and get yourself ready. You know, there's a curb on the inside here, just ignore that one completely. Again, you want to be looking for a late apex here, because it's kind of like a double apex corner. So you want to be coming in about mid-track and keeping the car to mid-track on the exit of the corner as well. Now there's a red and white curve on the inside on the right there. It's what we want to be looking at. I'm going to be aiming for that particular part of the corner there. So we're in second gear at this point, and then we pick up the apex as late as we can, just here. And as you can see, that kind of opens it up to the next left, which comes upon you really quickly. Now this was one of the ones we highlighted as being an important corner, so getting the run out of that left-hander is crucial. So the further we can keep the car over to the right on the exit of this corner, the better, because that allows us a better run onto the left-hander here. Fairly standard apex point here. It's kind of late, but you can take a little bit of that curve as well to help pull the car around. And you want to be getting on the throttle as early as you possibly can, probably about here. And that'll help carry the momentum down the straight, run the car out to the right hand side on the exit. Now we're coming down the back straight, or the middle straight I suppose you could call it. There's a 100 meter board on the right there. We can ignore that one for this one. Under the bridge For the Mazda you want to be braking on the 50 board. So you hit the brakes hard, and this one you want to be braking right into this curb on the left hand side here. Again, just like the first corner, you don't want to be braking in a straight line and then turning in later, because that'll, one, leave you open to attack from behind if you're in a race, and two, you kind of run out of track and you just get washed out to the outside, and that's no good for lap time. So with this one you kind of use the camber of the road and just kind of get the car tucked in nice and early on the curb on the left here. So you follow the curb all the way around here in second gear, and then you can start applying the throttle up the hill here. It'll probably reach the rev limiter before you get to the right-hander, because this is like a double hairpin section here. So you'll be keeping the car over to the left-hand side here as much as you can. Leave the car in second gear, and again this one here you want to turn in reasonably early here. Probably just a little bit of a dab on the brakes. You won't be doing too much braking here because you haven't built up that much speed out of the previous corner. So a little dab of the brakes just to settle the car, and get the car turned in nice and early on this apex on the inside here. Use the camber again to pull you round, and you can get on the power quite early out of here. It will try and swap ends on you, so you have to kind of feed the power in. You can't just stamp on it. So just feeding the power in gently and kind of balancing the car on the way out so that it's not losing too much time going sideways and oversteering on the exit. So out of that corner, down towards the very fast corner here. Now there's a little brow just in the crest of the road here. You can just about see it. You'll see it better when we're in the car, but you want to be turning in just before you crest that brow, because if you turn in after that then you just won't make the apex. So you want to be turning in just before the brow of the hill here. And this corner you can take flat out in the Mazda, so you get all over this curb on the inside here, keep the car absolutely pinned, and then here is where you want to be looking to start braking. So it's basically the end of this green curb here, so the concrete runoff there. So that's where you want to be hitting the brakes. This final corner is quite quick, and it's one of the ones we mentioned about being an important corner because you obviously lead onto the main front straight. But it's very easy to be tempted to kind of brake really late into here and then try and get on the power early, but you end up running off onto the left basically. So the earlier you brake here, you get the car settled because you're flat out around the previous right-hander. So you brake just with this curb ends on the left, hard on the brakes, and get the car turned in nice and early. Use the camber of the road again here, and then you can actually get on the power quite early here because there's a reasonable sized runoff on the outside here which you can run onto on this green. Not too far obviously, because then you'll catch the gravel on the outside and you will get a 1x, so if you're qualifying then that'll ruin your lap altogether. But then you're hard on the power all the way down the front straight and down into turn 1 again. So that's a little flyover of the circuit. So let's jump into the Mazda itself, turn some laps, and we'll see what it's like from the driver's perspective. Okay, so here we are in pit lane in the Mazda, so we'll engage first gear and we'll head out onto the track. Pit lane exit comes straight onto turn 1 here. So if you are in an open session, just be aware of cars coming quite quickly into turn 1 behind you. So let's just feel our way around this first lap just to identify all those points that we mentioned earlier on. Keeping the car mid-track through here, picking up a late apex curve there, and then you can feed the power in nice and early through here and carry the speed down the middle straight. Coming down to the double hairpin area, braking at the 50 board, get the car turned in nice and early, leave it out about mid-track, leave it in second gear, pick up an early apex there to get the power on nice and early all the way out. So here's that brow of the crest I told you about. If I turn in too late there, you can see it's not quite making it. If I was flat out through there, it would have washed me right out to the left hand side. So let's pick up the pace a little bit more. You see how quick that last corner is. You can really carry a lot of speed through there, so it's very easy to kind of get carried away and think, oh yeah, I'll just take it flat. You can't. So here we go, 100 board, hard on the brakes, down to third, late apex, feed the power in gently, don't let it run too wide on the exit there, braking hard, get the final part of the apex there, up to third, and power hard down, just balancing the car all the way through there because it's trying to get away from you a little bit. So look for the 50 board, on the brakes hard, get the car turned in early on the brakes, follow the curb all the way around the inside, middle of the track there, tap of the brakes just to settle the car, again pick up the curb on the inside and then hard on the power on the way out. Turn in nice and early for the flat out right hander, There you go, pick the curb up a bit better that time. Brake just on the end of the curb on the left there. Get the car settled, and then you can apply the throttle on the way out. So that's what we're looking at in terms of a lap round here. Let's try and pick up the pace a little bit more. So look for our marker points, our braking points there, down to third. Just be a bit patient on the turn in there. You can put the power on nice and early. Let's brake down to second. Kind of play with the throttle a little bit through there just to keep the car going. Ooh, big bit of oversteer that time. Try to pick up the throttle too early. That was no good for lap time. You can see the deltas ticking away. Braking at the 50 point. Get the car tucked in. Power on. Again, nice and early, tucked in there. You can see the track opens up a little bit on the left there, so you can really get the power down nice and early. There we go, flat out through there. Braking on the edge of the curb. See how early you can get the power on through there. I can probably get even more early actually on the throttle there, so I'll try and improve that next time round. So the laps keep coming at you really quickly. It's a very short lap, so there's plenty of opportunities to keep practicing it, which is the great thing about short circuits, is that it doesn't take you 2 minutes to get back to where you were, so you can try again. Down to second gear, leave it out to the left, look for your apex point on the inside, up to third in between, just feed the power in gently, run out to the left, there we go. So we can see our lap times are improving on there. Brake at the 50 board, get the car tucked in early. It's so tempting to try and go up to third there, but there really isn't time to go up to third and then back down to second again, because you will bog down out of the hairpin if you're in third. Flat out through there, bit much curve there, leave it in third. Too early on the turn in that time. But we are improving our lap time, which is good. So what's this one going to be? This is a 1 minute .9. So this is what happens when you brake too late into the first corner. You see it runs out, and then you're recovering all the way around then. So when you start trying to push on too much, that's when you start making mistakes and you end up sacrificing lap time. So the key around here really is you've got to be patient with a lot of the corners, but you've also got to be very smooth as well. It's very easy to just be all arms and elbows, just sawing at the wheel and stabbing at the throttle, but it's not going to help in the long run, so you've got to be smooth. Let's try and neaten this next one up. So it's a bit better through there, a bit of a run. Time to turn one again, so look for your braking point on the left. Make sure you nail your braking point, just kind of edge the car in on the brakes. A bit too early on the throttle then, I had to come off it to let the car rotate through the corner. Leave it mid-track, look for your second apex point. Feed the throttle in nicely. Not too bad through there. You can really pick up the throttle quite early through these hairpins. Just because of the camber really on them, it just helps pull the car around. Dab of the brakes. Hard on the power, and away we go. That was a better run through the last corner. Okay, let's go again. 100 board, brakes, ease the car to the middle, turn in, and then you can get on the power nice and early then when you've got the main part of the turning all done. Hard on the brakes at the dirty part of the track. Kind of maintenance throttle through here just to keep the car moving forward but not understeering off to the left. This helps keep the car in a neutral stance as well as maintaining forward momentum. Again, hard on the power out of there. Come out to the left just to kind of open the corner up a little bit. Now we know we've got time available on our last corner here. Missed the apex on the inside a bit then. There we go. Pick up the throttle. Yeah, definitely a better run onto the main straight. So we just lost a little bit of time in the third sector on that lap, but that's okay. It's all part of learning. Down to third. There we go, pick up the apex nice and late and get the power on. It's easy also to pick up 1x's through there if you're too greedy with the curb on the inside. Got a bit of a handful of opposite lock through there. You really got to look as far ahead as you can possibly look on this track, just to plan ahead for corners coming up next. Too much curb on the inside then. It unsettled the car through there. Not a great lap, but a couple of moments in there where it was just a little bit too much power too early or not turning in at the right point, so you've got to be on the ball all the time around here. Turn 1 though, very, very tricky to get right. Very easy to run off the left, and that just ruins all your lap time. Maintenance throttle just to keep the car going. Feed the power in nicely. Not too bad. Aim for the 50 board, brake and turn in. Get the car tucked in early. Power down hard out of there. Look for your crest of the hill, turn in. It's a decent amount of curb there. There we go. And up and over the line. So those are a few laps of the Okayama short circuit. I hope you found that useful. If you want to see us do more videos like this, please let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If there's a particular circuit that you're struggling with, let us know as well, and we'll take a look at it for you and we can do a track guide for it. But if you like this video, please feel free to tap the like button below. It'll mean a lot to us to see that you like the stuff that we're putting out. And if you are new to the channel and like what you see, then please consider subscribing, because there's more content coming from us, which we'll look to do entertainment stuff as well as instructional videos like this, but plenty more to come, so please stay tuned for that. But until next time, we'll see you very soon.